Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another autocross car build. My vehicle today is the Chevrolet Camaro Supersport from the latest Hot Wheels DLC. Now, last time out, we had the Focus RS go incredibly quickly. I'm hoping the Camaro can go pretty well. I'm not sure we're quite going to see the same absurd speeds that we saw from the Focus RS. I do, though, think that this might go pretty quick. If everything goes to plan. Now, the car starts off relatively high B class. We have had the Z28 go around the autocross track, and that started off in A class. However, this does give us some limitations on the bits that we can put on the vehicle. I'm going to want race weight reduction, I think, because the car is relatively heavy starting off. It is slightly lighter than the Z28. It's under 3,000 pounds, which is not bad going. I would really quite like race suspension as well. I think the big kind of concern almost with all of this is I'm not 100% sure we're going to get race tyres and tyre widths on the vehicle. We do want to go for a rear wing. Interestingly, doesn't drop the PI on this car. That's not helpful for me. I would have loved it to have dropped the PI some. We do want, 355s on the rear are huge tyres, which is good for grip. And we're going to get probably 285s on the front and 295s on the front, even better. The problem is, I suspect, that's not quite what I wanted to press. If we try and sneak on, oh, bloody hell. If we try to get race tyres on, it's far too high a PI. Now, I have the choice. You can either go for the race tyres or the weight reduction. And I will always tend to go for the weight reduction. Ideally, I would have, you want all of the handling parts for autocross. We don't have that choice on this car. Maybe we can get the sport tyres on if we put the roll cage in. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. If you could drop, there's probably not quite going to be enough PI, is it? I think we're going to be 1 PI too high for this, aren't we? And arse. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. What can we? We could swap the engine, but it's only got the NASCAR engine, which is going to give us far too much power. Bugger, we're going to have to. There's no other way of doing it, balancing the PI wise. I don't think there is another way. No, we'll go with street compound tyres, and we will. I will keep the roll cage in the car because I do want the stiffer chassis for handling. We will go and stick on the anti-roll bars as well. It is not ideal, but I have had to do similar things with cars in the past. The Camaro Z28 was an example. You had to compromise. Without the Porsche 911, had to compromise as well. They still did pretty well, so I'm hoping we can still do relatively well with this car. We are going to have a fair bit of power. 471 horsepower, 471 foot-pounds of torque as well. I got it back under. Wow, that exhaust is heavy in the Camaro. Got it back under the 3,000 pound mark. If we go for does that save me some? That one does save me some weight, but it's too much PI. This should hopefully, there we go, that should save me some weight. 2962. I will just have a look in case we can sneak a gear. Sometimes a gearbox can lower PI, but it already comes with a essentially a street level gearbox, so okay, we can't do that. Maybe we can sneak on one of these parts. We can indeed. So that's another almost £10 saved from the Camaro's weight, which is worth it. It didn't affect the PI, so we can get away with it. And we will put a race diff on the car to finish. So, power, pretty good. And torque as well, not bad. Not bad figures for the Camaro. The weight is down compared to the Z28. Question is, are we going to have enough grip for the very, very tight and twisty sections on the autocross course? So, of course, to test out the Camaro, I have brought it to the Hockenheim circuit, where it will have 3 runs through the autocross course in an attempt to go as fast as possible. Our current leader is the Focus RS with a time of 2:04.9. which was a damn impressive run. And the Camaro, I would be surprised to see the Camaro really challenge the very top. Perhaps the more interesting rivalry will be between this Super Sport and the Z28. Now, the Z28 had considerably more power, a bit more torque than this. However, it was 500-600 pounds heavier. So, will this Super Sport fare better? I think it might do. The Z28 wasn't bad either. I think this might stand a chance of beating the Z28. It's all going to come down to how much grip we have. Massive tyres is good news for us, but we don't have a race compound. I'm hoping it will still be enough, though, for the car to go nice and quickly through the course. Immediately, yeah, that's not bad. That is really not bad at all. Through the first gates there. Now, we're not quite going to have the glorious traction that we got from the four-wheel drive Focus. And we don't quite have the glorious grip either through that high-speed gate. The acceleration is impressive, to say the least. Wonder if we're going to set a new sort of fastest speed down this part, because that was carrying a lot of speed into that first high-speed section. This thing was absolutely shifting, so we could see a car go very quick down here. I have no doubt we'll be flat out through this next gate. It's okay, it's about 120. I was perhaps a tad early on the brakes. Yeah, I mean, it's got more acceleration than the Focus. It's up there with some of the fastest cars. We are already talking a few miles an hour here and there between these cars. Traction is pretty good, though. It really doesn't feel like it's on street tyres. It really gets turned very, very well through here. Again, you know, we're high 40s on the way out of that tight section. Not very far off at all what the Focus managed. How brave, how late dare I be under brakes? Too late, we don't have the brakes. Okay, that is something which we don't quite have in this car. I think there's a combination of a couple of things. We might not quite have the same braking, and also we are going a damn sight faster into some of these areas than the Focus was. It's just simply got more acceleration in this car. I am liking the Camaro, though. This is a bloody good handling car. We're going to get some wheel spin, not too uncommon. I think we actually got some wheel spin in the Focus. Even the four-wheel drive car was spinning its wheels up at that section of track. Oh, I did a stupid. Yeah, kind of a little too fine. Clipped the barrel with the splitter. Okay, well, 15 seconds worth of time penalties on that opening run. Yeah, this is definitely a decent car. So, on to the second run for the Camaro. Not clipping any barrels, it's always going to be important. We can't quite carry the same ludicrous speed through that opening high-speed gate, but if we can get that right, yeah, I definitely think this is on for a half-decent time. I'm very much liking this vehicle. It's one of these cars I think would probably be a great overall A-class car. It feels like it would be a very quick overall A-class car. Oh, that was better. That was better. 107-ish miles an hour is certainly not too shabby for that part of the course. Visibility isn't great in here. I will say that much about this Camaro. The roll cage certainly doesn't help, but even without that, it would not have particularly good visibility. Oh, that was really pushing my luck through there. Okay, back onto the brakes down here again. 120 miles an hour. A couple of miles an hour down on the really fastest cars, but a couple of probably 3-4 miles an hour up on that Focus. It does strike a very good mix between, you know, brutal acceleration and still being very good through these corners. Oh, we're a little bit too deep through there. I'm not sure if first gear might be a tad better, but by keeping it in second, we are not getting any wheel spin, which is quite nice. Okay, make sure we get the car slowed down for this part. Now the back end wants to let go slightly. It's only really the first time this lap where we have lost that back end. Once more, we have a car that just cannot see where to turn in for the hairpin. Have to have a slight lift and a bit of counter steer going on through that hairpin. as once more the back end was wanting to play around with us. Oh, didn't want first gear through there. Too easy to end up spinning those giant rear tyres. Now we have just got the run towards the line. Don't clip the splitter on anything stupid through here. Boot it. Even in second gear there, you can boot it and it goes. It's a decent time. 207.127 for the SS. That's a solid time, certainly, from the Camaro. I'm probably have a tough time beating that one. So, the big question for the Camaro. Can we get it into the 206s? Now, I do not have to find very much time to manage that. However, I'm not quite sure where I am going to find that time, because that last run was pretty damn good. I like this car as an overall A-class car. I think it's probably going to be a really rather fast vehicle. It's got great acceleration and is still very good through the turns. Although it isn't quite as good as the Focus. You can feel it coming up to here. There is just not the same levels of grip in this that you got from the Focus. It's an easy car to drive fast, which is always nice and pretty helpful when it comes to autocross. It's a nice, predictable vehicle. You know what it's going to do. It's going to perhaps ever so fractionally oversteer when pushed really hard, but on the whole, it's easy to get this car through the gates quickly. A very similar thing that I said about the Focus RS as well. The Focus RS was not a tough car to drive quickly, and neither is this one, but it doesn't quite have the levels of grip that you got with the Focus. It does have more acceleration, and kind of on a normal track, a normal race circuit, I think this is the Focus would probably be really bloody close actually. But around an autocross course, yeah, we just lack a little bit of grip, but it's still not bad. Still really not bad. I have been trying to push it more here. I've had a couple of slight oversteery moments from the Camaro. Get it turned in for this next section. Run through the tunnel of cones up towards the hairpin for the final time. Now, last time we had a smidge of a slide going through here. Smoother this time around. Yeah, it's just there are places where you simply cannot carry the same speed that you could get away with in the Focus. Trying second gear through there, still a little bit of wheel spin. And you go, again, bear in mind this thing, yes, it has got giant tyres, but to keep the PI in A-class, it is on street tyres as opposed to full racing tyres. So for that alone, and it's pretty good going. It's wow, I don't know where I found that time. I was not ready for that. What did I do? Okay, that I thought I might have gone a fraction slower than that last run. I really thought I'd blown it. I ran a little wide through one of the early corners, and I wasn't quite prepared for the time that popped up when I crossed the line. I found some speed in that final run. Wow. That is a bloody good car. That is a really good, as I said, an overall A-class car. That Camaro is incredible. It isn't as good to drive through the gates as the Focus. Okay, I'm going to say that it certainly doesn't have the grip. However, it still is a very good car. That Focus slightly spoiled me, I think, last time out. I don't know if much is ever going to quite handle as well as that. So, yeah, I mean, to get a 206.0 is very good going. Again, for a car that's on street tyres. Yes, they are giant street tyres, but it is still on street tyres. The way that you have to build this car to keep it in A-class, that is, I think, the best compromise is to dump out as much weight as you can. That's the way that I'll tend to build my cars. You dump out the weight as wide of tyres as possible. Do what you can with the tyre compounds, and that works wonders with this car. Very easy car to drive quick. Has got some very quick acceleration. Very useful, I think, for making up some of the time that it lost to the Focus through the gates. You know, some of the other cars as well that are good through the gates. Because that 206.0 will put the car into 7th place. It is right up there. It is right up there ahead of the Nissan Silvia, Fiat Dino, Toyota Corolla. It loses out a little bit to the Mazda RX-8, the Volkswagen Beetle, and the 60s Corvette. It is a second faster than the Camaro Z28, 1.1 seconds faster than that Z28. which is, the Z28 was a damn good car as well. That is impressive speed from the Camaro Supersport. I really like this car. It's a lovely, I think it's a lovely overall A-class vehicle, and yeah, a pretty damn capable one when it comes to an autocross course. Changes direction very well. You can get it to oversteer, but only when you're being a bit of a moron, when you push it really hard. So yeah, that is a damn impressive car. However, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.